Welcome to A Certain Point Askew, the only Star Wars podcast that's actually read the book of Boba Fett, and we can't wait for the movie. I'm your host, Angry Ginger, sitting inside Wookiee Poo Studios. I'm sitting here alongside my neighbor from Corellia, Cole. Take it over.
Yeah, it was a good... you got some effects from being in carbonite all day long?
Yeah,
Is that what's going on?
It's a little after effects.
It seems like your sight hasn't been affected.
Oh, no, I can't see either.
Right.
Yeah.
We went over that last time, right? You only the temporary blindness from carbonite. It's only for the longer duration.
It depends on how long you're in it. Yeah,
we've come to that conclusion. Yeah, thanks for having me, Jason. I am neighbor Cole from Corellia. It was a good flight in on my X-wing. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Were you on hyperspace, or did you just take the short cruise?
I just took the scenic route.
What moon were you on?
That's no moon. That's a space station.
Okay.
So I'm done.
Oh, here's a factoid. Do you know that the second Death Star was 460% larger than the first one?
No.
I did not know that.
I didn't know it was that much bigger.
I was looking up factoids today, and I found that one. That's not our factoid at the end of the episode, but I was like, oh. So you just brought that up, and it triggered it. Go ahead.
Just knowledge.
Go ahead.
Spewing the knowledge.
Stop. Darth Mathias is already talking. We haven't brought him into the show yet.
Well, you forced him to answer your fucking...
Yeah, I did look right at him. Did you know? And then I ridicule him. Shut your mouth over there.
We have a third micer coming in hot from the Skype lines. He's our show impersonator. Better than... What's his face from Police Academy?
Winslow?
Yeah. Michael Winslow. He's like our own Michael Winslow. He's got an impression, I'm
got
sure.
The beeps, the creeps, and the creeps. The what, the what, and the what? The beeps. Boop, boop, boop. That's Spaceballs.
It's Matt, a.k.a. Darth Matthews.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt.
Please reassemble us. Please reassemble us.
So those are the droids in the Mandalorian episode.
Yes, and that whole scene was like a horror show.
Yeah.
Because those things all came to life and were like surrounding R2. And it you know how I am with robots. It freaked me out.
Oh, that probably haunted you. Wasn't it sort of like the Island of Misfit Toys?
Yeah, it was that, or it was even. Do you remember the guy in Blade Runner? That he goes up to visit that guy who's like got all those creatures in his house. Do you not remember that in
the
original
first Blade Runner? No, I don't remember that.
Oh God, it was like that. They just these things that came to life, and they were so desperate for R2 to help them. It made me ill.
I'm gonna blow your guys' mind. It's from Toy Story 2 when the fucking skids or
the kid next door that has the toys under the bed.
Is it Skid?
Oh right.
When they all come alive and they like surround
the baby
Woody.
Head on the spider legs and
what that was fucking that just came to me unparalleled.
Well, I mean, this season we'll talk about it. There's a couple of moments where I was like ripped right from a movie. So it definitely is.
I got a couple of those too.
Yep. If you want to check out all of our stuff, you can go to from a certain pew. From a certain point askew.
We got 2 fucking listeners that try to tell us that we don't know how to pronounce shit, and all of a sudden we become the R words.
From a certain point askew.com.
Republicans.
Twitter is at FACPA pod. You can email the show facpapod@gmail.com. You can also find our merch at teespring.com/store/FacpaPod. And I was going to say, we never really share our personal Twitter handles. So mine is at ReasonsR. What are yours?
You can find me, the Angry Ginger, S7EVE on Days of Geek.
Wrong show. No, just kidding. I'm at Neighbor Cole.
There you go.
All right. We got a bunch of things on this show today. We've done the intro. There's going to be a question of the week. We've got a bunch of news. We've got a whole freaking wrap up of season 4. No Maul bag. Your fault. You're the listener. That's all I can say about that. And like I teased at the beginning, there is a factoid. So we'll get to that as well. To go back to the thing, your voiceover. I was watching the rest of the show today, and we got to the last 2 episodes, the Darth Maul ones, the snake that was talking around. Yeah, right when you started talking, I was like, oh, there's Matt right there. Here it comes.
I thought about that, and the other one I thought, and I was going to do up until the last minute, was Dinar, the slaver. And we'll get to that episode.
Okay.
He's the one, he's the cat that keeps all the birds in cages.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So we'll talk about it later.
The pink birds.
The birds switch allegiance quickly, too. They're just jumping from shoulder to shoulder.
Right. They just want someone to love them. Like, pet me.
Right.
All right. We're going to get into the Clone Wars wrap up in a second. But first, question of the week. All right. So we're going to play in from the idea of the Book of Boba Fett. If it was previous episodes, we discussed that maybe it would be like an anthology series. Like each episode will sort of like tell a story of, where Boba Fett was either before or after the Sarlacc pit. We'll just see a bunch of stories that kind of catch us up in the history, right? That was an idea we had. So if we play with that and we go to a single episode and we go based off of what we saw at that end credit sequence where we find out there's going to be the Book of Boba Fett. What is Boba Fett's purpose for taking over the Hutt cartel? And so let's discuss the backstory and, what's his grudge against Bib Fortuna? Anybody got any ideas?
Well, I think, there's got to be some beef that goes deep with Bib. So I think he was cool with Jabba, maybe. Gave him a lot of work. But I think he just always didn't have respect for Bib as the right-hand man to Jabba. He probably always had to go through him. He just wanted to talk directly to the boss man. So he was like, who the fuck do you think you are taking over this whole cartel? You're not
whispering in his fucking ear.
Yeah, so he saw like the number 2, like he saw an obvious mismatch when it came to him versus Bib. Or like he saw
he always thought he could be number 2.
Or an opportunity to be exploited. He's like, he got like a message or a telegram or something. Bib Fortuna's running Tatooine gangster cartel. Like, this can't stand. I hate that motherfucker. And kind of is like, I'm gonna seize this opportunity, go in there and clean house. And
maybe there was like a little bit of interspecies erotica. Like there was like a little bit of a crush between the two.
Was
and
Bib
it never
Fortuna,
happened?
Was he Twi'lek? Or he looks too fucked up in the mouth to be Twi'lek.
Well, they have like the vampire teeth though. So
I guess.
But he'd be like an albino version. Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
He's like just like a gray version.
I mean, maybe
old man Twi'lek.
Some of them weren't on the.
That's why he doesn't like him. It's a whole racist thing. Like he's like because he's just gray. He doesn't have like that bright green or red color.
It's too drab.
Yeah. He's like you albino.
I'm not a fan of the grayscale. Okay, so get the fuck out of here. Just takes him out. Yeah, I think my thoughts on the backstory is just opportunities seized, and he finds like something to exploit. But I really want to see Hutt cartel versus Boba Fett type of thing. Like he uprooted.
Oh, so the rest of the Hutts.
Like he messed up the mob. Like, the new guy in the neighborhood came in, guns blazing, and blew away a mobster. Now the Hutts are going to try to send a message, and he's going to have to deal with that. Like,
we really don't know if the Hutts have any power anymore, though. Like in this era of Star Wars, we haven't seen anything. So maybe that's one of the things is he's just like he'd been on Tatooine for a few years, after he crawls out of the Sarlacc pit, which we don't know that story really, how that happens. But we don't even know if we knew he had a ship right away because all of a sudden he's flying around. So what was the purpose of him walking around, with his weed whacker and a robe through the desert all the time for 5 years if he could have just left? I mean, we know he wanted his armor, but so maybe there's 5 years of history. So maybe there was a little bit of like, I'll rub this, you do this, and something went back. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that right, like you said, I think there's going to be a lot of flashback opportunities here to show what exactly he's been doing. You need to see how he survived, and then you need to see what like you just said, what's he been up to? Why did it take this long? Were there other? Maybe Bib Fortuna wronged him later. Maybe he was aware of him. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if he had to have if he's been around that long, he had to have gone back into that place because that's sort of like a refuge, right? Like that's a place he can go and sort of be around his peeps. It's that or fucking Mos Eisley, and apparently no one knew he was around over there, so it was just Jabba's hut.
Maybe Bib found him in the desert after he escaped the Sarlacc pit and just passed him by and just kind of
he gave him mouth to mouth and he's never forgiven him.
He had the opportunity to help with those teeth.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'd rather die in the Sarlacc.
And that's where the scars on his face came from.
Right? Yeah,
the jagged teeth. He missed a few times, but no, maybe he came across him in the desert and
I shall take advantage of your corpse. Oh, you're not dead.
Oops, I'm bad. Good luck. Here's a bottle of water.
Here's
Bye.
your robe back.
Here's a shot of spatchka. I'm gonna send myself on my way. This never happened.
Well, we'll find out in 9 months.
It's like a huge
that's when Boba has the baby that
wide shot, like a 5-minute wide shot where you just see Bib Fortuna backing away slowly away from his body as Boba cries.
I will say that I enjoyed the monk Boba with the weed whacker or whatever. I enjoyed him as he was a badass before putting the armor on when we got introduced him in The Mandalorian.
Right, I think that was perfect. We talked about that. Like
plain clothes Boba.
Yeah. Yeah, just like we knew he was a badass without putting the armor on. And then we put that on, he's like explosions everywhere, slow motion shots walking away.
So yeah, like I feel like if they explore that backstory, they explore him without his armor and how he came to be. That's the big question everyone wants answered. How did he get out of the Sarlacc pit, right? So I feel like there's going to be a lot of that in those one-off.
I agree. I'm like interested in the story. There's like, what do we have? 40 years, 35 years of like, we want more Boba Fett stories, and they have to like self-contain this into like what, 8 episodes?
Right.
So there's going to be like book 2 for sure.
I would assume so, especially if it goes well and people really latch on to the characters.
Right.
Should we get into the news?
Yeah, let's do the news.
So the Kenobi series got a couple items here. One is that Indira Varma, who I guess was in Game of Thrones, who wasn't. Every time somebody else is cast, it's like they were in Game. You know them from Game of Thrones. I'm like, well, I never watched the show.
You didn't?
Aaron Rodgers, and you know him from Game of Thrones.
but it just seems like everybody and their brother was in that show. But she's going to be in it. They didn't say who. Some people are thinking, is this like a love interest of Kenobi? Some people's thinking, is this a flashback and this is Satine?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
That's what we all have to wonder. It'll be interesting to see where that goes because we haven't heard a whole lot else as far as casting goes. We don't know other than him and Hayden. I mean, that's it. So
right. And maybe Darth Maul. We've kind of heard some rumors that Ray Park is coming back somewhere.
He has to be in there.
And if you're going to bring him back anywhere, it's for Kenobi, right?
Yeah.
With their history.
He's obsessed with him. The other thing that came up was that the Illuminati, great name,
right,
broke this story about how Kenobi was going to have a role in the Andor series, and they didn't describe it as a cameo. They described it as a recurring role, which I thought was really interesting because of course, there's a million things you could do with that.
Mm-hmm.
And all the timing, kind of lines up for them to be in communication. People were talking about like he knew he was tight with Bail Organa, so maybe Bail Organa's in there somewhere, all that kind of stuff, because he's obviously going to be showing up somewhere in that Andor series.
I want to say, like when they showed the trailer for it, that long extended trailer, there were shots or like drawings of Bail Organa, right? Like
they?
I think, yeah.
Let me go back and look at it again.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while either, but excuse me, I'm pretty sure he's either been announced as a cast member or I saw like drawings or something. So drawings,
illustrations.
And also, I think that one of the things that they did this season, of course, is to set up other series by bringing in a character for an episode or so. You got Bo-Katan coming in for an episode. You've got, 2 episodes, really. You had, obviously, Ahsoka. And so is this the way that they're kind of setting up the Kenobi series? Because Andor is going to come before Kenobi as far as the release schedule.
Maybe he's going to be the Nick Fury. Like he's putting together a team.
Yeah.
It's just an end credit sequence where they see Kenobi.
And that's it. Oh, shit.
The Rangers of the New Republic. Credits. Like, fuck.
That's all we get?
Yeah.
And that was it for that. Unless you had any other thoughts, I was going to move on to the Rangers of the New Republic.
No, I mean we've talked about the whole Marvel universe sort of thing of interspersing stories and characters, so this doesn't surprise me. In fact, it's one of the like most beloved characters, and if they're sticking in that era, they might as well put him in there a little bit. I mean, the legend is he stuck around on Tatooine until Luke turned 16 and was old man whatever. That boy leaves the planet every time the fucking moons go down.
He had a whole.
He's like, Luke's sleeping. I'm out of here.
He was curing a crate dragon meat, and he couldn't leave. He had to,
took forever. You got to mine that thing.
Yeah, he's got to take
it'll
the
dry. It'll dry
planet.
up on you.
You got to stay on top of it. It'll dry out if you let it get below a certain temperature. What is he going to do with the crate dragon
Obi-Wan's
meat?
become an entrepreneur.
He's the Gordon Ramsay.
He's out selling it.
Tatooine. Now you need to really just see this crate dragon meat. A little bit of butter, a little bit of rosemary.
Yeah, and it's why silo off every show? You have to have the overlap between other, between.
Well, I
other
mean,
shows.
season 2 of The
sense.
Mandalorian is like proven that it works. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of other series,
yeah,
the Rangers of the New Republic. There's now rumors that Hera is going to show up. So this was brought on by LRM, or that they're the ones who mentioned this, which makes a ton of sense given the timeline and
you mean
the fact
ILM?
That LRM.
ILM.
No.
Just
LRM. Not ILM. It's not. I'm not talking about Industrial Light and Magic. I'm talking about a news source.
Okay.
They are the ones who
So
reported this,
serious.
saying that like basically Cara Dune, of course, not with us anymore. So they're like, who is going to fill in that role? Who's going to be the character that brings you into this series? Because we might not know as many of the other characters. So you need somebody familiar. So they're thinking, well, why wouldn't you just bring in Hera? She was in that Squadrons video game. She's obviously, there's a chance she could show up in the Ahsoka series potentially if there's, interplay with that Ghost crew.
I agree. You're right. They need a character that's sort of like known, right, to introduce, because we don't know who the spinoff character is, or we don't even fucking know what this is about. I mean,
we don't.
We've been doing this podcast for just, 6 months? How long have we been doing this? And I think this show has had more rumors than anything else we talked about.
Yeah.
None of them right. But
right.
My question is, are they going to bring in the most famous Ranger of all time?
The Power Rangers?
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh.
Chuck Norris. Will he have a cameo?
I think so. He has to.
Wouldn't that be fucking funny if he just like pulled off, you see him in the background, just pull off a Stormtrooper mask and it's Chuck Norris. Haven't worked in 6 years. Yeah.
He's one of those guys who's like sneaky old as fuck. Like he is like in his 80s or some shit, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, he'd still drop kick all of us.
Yeah, of course he would.
Yeah, without even breaking a hip. Break mine though.
Without even breaking a hip. Then there's the one that you pointed out to us, that was the Luke rumor. This is bananas.
This one stews like in my brain. Like every day I kind of like, they're not going to do it. They can't do it. They're done with the Skywalker. And then I'm like, no, but they brought him back. Like, you don't know what they're going to do right now.
Man, we think about drastically different stuff.
Well, I mean, I got other things that are on my mind too. What's going on here?
Oh, I'm
sure.
sure.
A short circuit. See,
it's this cord right here.
Oh.
So I should probably touch it as much as possible.
Please don't touch the cord. Please stop touching the cord.
Let me click on my keyboard for about an hour for you, Matt. Give you something to yell at me about.
The idea of it going back and telling the story of Luke trying to start his academy, young Ben, all of that. I love the idea. I think that it would be a great idea. I don't know how it would work. It would have to be almost like the idea of us discussing, whether it would be like the Lando Calrissian, like the Chronicles or whatever, right? Where old man Lando is looking through his diary, flashback to Donald Glover, shows the young version. So maybe they could do that, but...
Oh, so you think they include Hamill is like the old version of Luke, but then they recast somebody else as the young version, right? Like they can't do the CGI again. They have to cast that part.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, like, how do you do it without including him in some way? And, I think Hamill's gracious enough where he would hand it over. Because, I mean, he, as much as he's not happy with what they did, and he's been very vocal about it.
A bit pretentious, I think, too.
Well, I'll tell you what, like, that's one argument I think he acted his fucking ass off in The Last Jedi. He was amazing in it. So it wasn't what any of us wanted from that character. So we could he could have that redemption, right? Maybe some way, but I don't know. Like, do you dare tamper with the last three and go back into the story of Luke and tell more? I mean, I don't think Hamill would be like, no, I'm not signing that check. Yeah, he could.
It's one of those shows that I don't think I want them to make. But then if they made it, I'd be all over it, of course. You know what I mean?
Oh, when they announced it, we're all going to be standing up like we were,
of course,
except for Cole because he didn't know who it was.
What are we talking about?
The last episode of the season when Luke shows up, you were just oh, what's going on here? Who's the guy in the bathrobe?
I don't know why I'm so clueless all the time. I can't do timelines.
Me and Matt had the chills. We're crying. My kid's telling me, what the hell's going on?
What's there next week coming in for? It's one of the... What's his name? Wolf Trapper?
Yeah.
Why do they care so much about Wolf Trapper?
I hate myself even. You guys can hate me. That's fine. I hate myself for that. I'm the worst.
Yeah, I'm afraid to see what I don't know. It would be interesting to see them try it, but at the same time, I wouldn't be upset if they don't. I wouldn't be upset if they were like, you know what? We brought you that piece of Luke for this part of The Mandalorian, and we're just going to leave that there for now. I'd be okay with that too.
It doesn't really fit with what they're doing right now, right? Because they're almost like they've got The Mandalorian and all the stories they can kind of spin out from that era. And then, well, I mean, the rumor is that it's just after Return of the Jedi, right?
Right.
So it would sort of fit the Mandalorian area. So like, if anything, maybe fit the story into a couple of episodes in the Mandalorian, like the Clone Wars we're watching, right? Like there's batches of episodes where every season they kind of go back in and pick up the story.
Yeah, well, I think that's what
maybe
you do.
they could do that a little bit.
Yeah, so not a whole series dedicated to him.
Right.
But have him show up occasionally or whatever, especially since he's with Grogu. You would think that there's a chance he shows up again somehow. Yeah. So I think that's enough. I don't think you need to dedicate a whole series to him.
And like realistically, how much can Favreau and Filoni do at once before the story starts to lose its full luster? You know, they're going to spread themselves too thin as creators. I'm afraid. Although so far, apparently they've. I mean, I'm not. If they were announced tomorrow, hey guys, guess what? We've got 10 more shows coming out. I'd be like, fucking let them do it. You know,
Sure.
but I like at the same time, like I don't want it to lose like the strength that it has right now. So
Yeah, I agree.
I wonder how much consulting is going on behind the scenes for like with
George.
with George Lucas. Like, hey, this is where we want to take this, and he's like, no, you guys can't. He's like, well, we got creative control.
Yeah, I think
We're gonna do
it's
what we want
probably
either
more
way.
of like a respectful thing, like to get his feeling or an idea of like to keep like that feel, you know, because I mean he created it all, right? And I think it's great that they keep him involved and that respectfully look for like his say in things. But yeah, I mean they already Disney already like wiped their ass with the episode 7 script the second they bought it. JJ, go write a new one, you know.
Yeah.
So
I imagine it's a lot like the scene in The Godfather when Marlon Brando's, you know, he's already like retired. And he's just hanging out in the garden and Michael's like talking to him about stuff and what's going to happen. And he keeps going like, oh, and this is going to happen. He's like, yeah, I know, Pop. I know. And he's like, that's Filoni and Lucas. They just have these little conversations where Lucas is like, and you should probably remember to talk about the Trade Federation again or taxes or something. And he's like, yeah, I know.
I'm gonna tell you what, this is why I loved season 4. No fucking taxes, no trade federation, no Senate.
Yeah, exactly.
Like so far, like this season is my favorite so far.
It's like going in and talking to an old ancient relic, throwing the dinosaur a bone, having the conversation.
Yeah.
You gotta go see George. Bring him a tapioca pudding. Talk to him.
All right, I'll go see it. Well, he's on the front porch right now. He's waiting for
Rocket
you.
chair. You bring my tapioca? Yeah, I got it right here.
Oh, so like, let me say this before we move on into the recap of the season, because this is the second time now you've brought up The Godfather. Because I think the last episode was it you that brought up The Godfather, the horse and the head?
Did I?
do a lot of podcasts, so I could be wrong, but I'm having a flash of you bringing up The Godfather.
I have no memory.
So just to put this out there, I've never seen The Godfather.
What?
Yeah, neither of you.
I have too.
Oh.
There's a lot of movies that are like that. Like there's movies that I haven't seen where people go, I can't believe you've never seen that.
Yeah.
That, you know, so I totally understand that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one you really want to see.
Well, I sat down to like watch it, and I was bored in the first 15 minutes, and I shut it off. I was like,
All right,
I don't care about this kid in a flower pot and walking down the street, whatever the hell's going on.
Given your love for filmmaking and all that goes with it, I can't believe you have not seen that movie.
I know. Francis was over last week, and he's still mad at me.
Hasn't seen Braveheart either.
Shut up.
You haven't seen Braveheart?
No, I know.
I will not be quieted.
Well,
let me silence.
Interesting. Okay. Well, you got some
I
work
love
to
you.
do. Stop
Always have.
watching these streaming shows and watch Braveheart and The Godfather.
I can't do it.
Baronet.
All right, let's go into this season.
Let's do it.
Right off the bat, good news for Cole. No jumping around. Just one through
Yeah.
22 straight through. They didn't fuck around with that.
Right.
Very
Yeah.
linear. I like my ducks all in a row.
For the most part. Although there was like toward the end there was a little bit of a mess up. Like I'm pretty sure the witch died along with everyone else. Then in the next episode, she's like, "Hey, you need to go find your brother. I'll help you. Here's my magic."
She vanished into a cloud of smoke.
Oh, I
She
took it as
escaped.
like she was kind of like the
Vanished?
witch version of a Force ghost.
Oh no, I don't think that. I think
Oh.
she like went to
So
another
she's the only one that lived.
another realm.
Okay.
Yeah, because she shows back up later. I don't know.
Well, she shows up in the next episode,
spirit.
and I thought it was one of those like, oh, we just held these Darth Maul
Those
ones
sisters,
till the end.
those sisters of the Night Witches are some crafty bitches.
Oh,
I'll tell you
shit.
that, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I couldn't quite figure out that either. If she had died or not, I don't think she did. But I thought the same thing you just said, that
Okay.
if she did, she's just some spirit that's just going to live on forever, and it doesn't really
Right.
matter.
Right.
I like that she gave Count Dooku HSV1 and the fucking sores all over his face. She's over there fucking giving him herpes simplex virus 1. Poor bastard. It's like, God, he's. And then in the next episode, he
That was a
recovered.
quick
took
breakout,
his,
too.
Took his Veltrex. And he
Well,
was
that's
fine.
like when they shave Obi-Wan's beard and hair. The
Yeah.
next episode, he's got
man.
everything back again.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
I
all
know
right.
that came back pretty quick.
Sure
Hey, that
did.
was actually pretty well done, I thought.
Oh,
I
fucking
thought that was
fantastic.
A cool, like, you always wondered, like, what kind of technologies do these assholes have just at their fingertips? You can just turn into a whole nother person.
Face off.
Stick a spider down your fucking throat, and you got a new voice.
Yeah. Yeah. Not comfortable.
It doesn't
I
look
wonder
like
what
it.
this is going to feel like. No, you don't. I immediately regret this decision.
So, yeah, we're jumping around quite a bit. First episode.
Have you done the show before?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been here for all of
Well,
them.
before I was just going to say a couple things real quickly, kind of overall. I think the battle scenes are ramping up, and the stuff you're seeing now is just getting better and better. So I love that.
Oh yeah,
CGI looks a lot cleaner, a lot more
It
crisp.
does.
The battles, the facial.
there
the
seems to
visuals
be
look
like
a lot
long
better.
tracking shots. The frames seem to be wider with like stuff happening in the background to come in. Like this, the direction. I don't know if they changed directors or brought people in or like what the change was, but the whole planet, the Umbra, that whole
Yes.
battle and that like
Umbara.
was fucking fantastic.
It was great.
All four
And,
episodes.
I don't know how you listen if you just have like your earbuds in or whatnot, but the like on Umbara, you could hear the bullets whizzing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like the audio and visual stuff they just really
Mhm.
ramped up. And even like in the end, that junk planet that he finds Maul on, the visuals of that planet
Yes.
were freaking amazing. It looked
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, you had those trash machines they would just like they were constantly
They were
like,
the fire breathers.
fire
or-
breathing.
right?
Yeah, I think they were just
Right.
eating trash and
Yeah.
molting or melting it down, smelting it down or whatever.
Yeah.
So
And they did a lot. They seem to really be getting more and more into the multi-episode technique.
Right, they were
There's
3
not a
and
lot of one-offs,
4s. Yeah.
which is
those
good.
those Umbarans are motherfuckers. Those guys can hold a planet, right?
No shit.
That's the most.
Yeah.
Although, like, did you buy like they were like some type of clone themselves?
dig
They
in,
all look the
goddammit!
same.
They all
I
did
said
look the
dig
same.
in. They're fucking in there. Yeah, they were all like orange helmets and
Mm-hmm. They look like sort of like the 1950s sci-fi spaceman, right?
Yes.
Like
Totally.
the globe glass helmet and the
it's all Matt Damon from Martian under there.
yeah.
Take your helmet off.
Hey guys, why don't you cut this out and we'll go back and see my potato farm?
Well, and then after giving us that tease at the end of season 3, they make us wait till the end of season 4 before we see the whole Maul
Yeah.
Savage thing. So,
Right.
like as we're going along, I think you mentioned it on Twitter that it definitely starts out slow. We'll get to those episodes in a second, and then it really ramps up with the Umbara stuff, and then it's just kind of this race to the end where there's all these great episodes, and by the time they get to Maul and Savage, you're like, oh, that's right, we haven't seen these fuckers forever, like not until since the end of last season.
I almost wrote Filoni a nicely worded letter.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about these underwater goddamn space battles.
Quarren
Yeah,
versus the
let's get into
Moncala.
that.
Yeah, like I liked some of the history behind it to get to know those characters because we saw them in The Mandalorian, and there was
Right.
like a speculation in the one episode that this was that planet and that history was the basis of what we were going to see there, which it wasn't. So our speculation is always dead on. But
Yep, nailed it.
like we don't need 3
Is
episodes.
that not
of,
the form of currency that Beef Cargo tries to throw at him at the beginning? It's calamari flan.
Mhm.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's from Moncala, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So,
I did like to see. It's a trap.
yeah, Al Akbar showed
Yeah.
up. He was a general.
Only a captain at that point.
captain.
Right.
Yeah.
hasn't
Yep, not an
hasn't
admiral.
made the rank of admiral yet.
He was only an E5. He made E7 later on that year.
I
Promoted.
like how that guy, that freaking shark, whose name Riff Hampson, which I was like, is it like a
Biff-
meteorologist or something? Like, what
Biff
is the
Tannen?
weirdest, stupidest name I've ever heard? But Akbar tries to like go after him and glass him after he talks shit when they're doing that whole like round
Yeah.
robin. I was like, oh man, I'd love to see Akbar just go right after
Yeah.
that dude.
He was vicious too. Like there were some deaths in this season that I was like, whoa.
Yeah. So I looked a couple times just to make sure. I'm like, TV, this is PG?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he's going
'Cause-
around just fucking eating people at the end when they behead him. Or no, he uses like a grenade and kills
Yeah.
him. And then you just see his fucking dead head float past the screen.
Right.
I was like, oh my God. Or even, what episode was it where Ahsoka's in the middle of like 6 people and she fucking jumps up, pulls her sabers out, comes down. Oh, it's the Mandalorians.
Yeah.
And she beheads 4
Oh,
of them
sure.
in
Yeah.
one
It's
move.
a quadruple head
Yeah.
swap.
And I was
head
like,
head removal.
Disney, you didn't know what you were buying.
Yeah, I had that in my notes as she fucking did the whole 360 head thing. That was awesome.
Yeah. By the way, I think I need Kit Fisto to get me his upper body workout routine because I'd like to
What
get it
is
on
going
there.
on there?
That dude
Yeah.
is cut.
Yeah, he is.
I was like, holy shit. He looks like such a funny,
Oh,
goofy
yeah.
guy, too. He's got those big black eyes, and he just kind of looks like thump the dump the dump.
Yeah. And then
He's
there's
always
like,
smiling too. Like,
Yeah. How he's
there was a moment where I was like, wait a minute, he's butt naked now. Where's all his clothes at?
Kit Fisto does not skip chest day. He's
No,
got-
you're right.
He's doing
Wow.
325 on the incline bench.
I guess I didn't think, too, about the fact that the sabers work underwater flawlessly.
Yeah, and the water didn't boil around him. That's kind of interesting. You know what I mean? You got a hot saber, wouldn't
Right. Yeah. It's getting warm over here. You want to turn that down?
constantly wiping your mask because of the steam.
I
Just
did like
turn it on and leave it on long enough, and like all the fish people just to start boiling. Won this war.
Yeah, I know you're in a hazmat suit over there, but it's fucking hot out here. Can you turn that off?
And so in that whole run of episodes, you know, there's the issue between the two species, and then I like how the king or the prince, I guess, is like, I don't think the Quarren are going to attack. And then, of course, the narrator's like, they attacked. I mean, it was like instantly. The second he said it, they're like, here they come.
Mr. Prince whiny no confidence was what I called him. He just was constantly, well, I don't know what we should do. And
He
like
was
then
very
he's trying
overwhelmed.
to
Well, he had some character development.
let me overcompensate here. We got to hold strong. Well, now's the time to retreat. Akbar's telling him, and he's like, well, we got to hold strong.
Yeah. He kind of like had balls at the wrong time, and he was like, well, the prince, or what was he, the king? He was the fucking leader, whatever he was. He's 12 years old, and he gets to make the decisions. I'd have been like, put some tape on that kid's mouth, and he can talk when he's 18.
Akbar, you're in charge. Come on.
Yeah.
Tries to rally the troops, right? Like you can be regent for a while, Prince. Why don't you just sit there and you're a figurehead for a little while? Let
So this was
Akbar
the
take
first
this over.
4 episodes was the battle between these two, because the king was killed.
It was the
number
first
4
3.
Yeah, number 4
Yeah.
was where Jar Jar comes after they take Grievous down. General Grievous goes down.
But the first 3, I mean, I was a little concerned at first because the storyline was kind of, the battle scenes were decent, but like you said, I wasn't as invested in that whole storyline.
Well, when you have to go to the Gungans for fucking like support.
Yeah. Misa eyes rolled on that one.
Right.
Sorry.
And then of course, although you know what, to be fair, they were wiped out like almost immediately. So
It was muy bad.
yeah.
It was muy bad. I just love how Yoda's like, we could call it Gungans, and every just head slap. Like, no.
Wait a second. Yeah, we could call the Gungans.
I guess we could.
But yeah, I like how they were like explaining it. You know what? What we really need is an underwater species in a system nearby. Like they're setting the fucking framework for calling in the Gungans.
We have friends.
Are you saying what I think you're saying? The fucking Gungans? We don't want to do that.
Yeah, but in the end, they win. The prince kills Tamsin, and they, you know, basically unite under him as a king. And so we're like, okay, we can move on.
Unite the clans.
But then they sort of do and don't, because then they just take us back to the Gungans, and they've got some mystical wizard that's you know, under Dooku's, you know, Dooku's got more fucking people working under his thumb than anybody.
He's got a lot of people
There's
inside.
a bad guy in every group.
Yep. He's got someone infiltrated every group, every race.
And he just can't get anyone to follow through his shit for him, can he?
He's always their last chance.
For the guy who does not accept failure, he accepts a lot of it.
He's constantly looking for new help. It's
Even
hard
the
to
Emperor
find.
is like, you know what? I've got my doubts about you this season.
He's on Indeed.com. He's got a LinkedIn set up there for looking for new recruits at all
He
times.
needs to check references better or something.
Fucking
Maybe it's poor hiring practice.
Palps is like, wait, Darth Maul's alive? Give me that guy back.
I'll take him.
That's season 5.
Dealing
Yeah,
with
that
this dipshit.
that episode 4 was, I mean, again, we're watching Jar Jar pretend he's the king or whatever of the Gungans, and it was just like, please, let's get on with this so we can get to the next one.
My big gripe on that episode was with Jar Jar playing the leader. I have that made me almost vomit. That was annoying as hell. But the Gungan sacrifice, the guy that sacrificed himself to capture Grievous, he goes at him. That was pretty stupid. There's 400 Gungans surrounding Grievous, and this guy's like, I've got to take him.
That's what I was watching.
I got to take him on by myself.
The same thing for me was like, why is one at a time fighting this guy when you've got your whole fucking army circling like it was a high school fight?
Or just everyone just start unloading on him and
kick
kill
his
him.
ass, Seabass.
Just kill him. Let's just not capture him. Let's just murder him and get him out of the way.
Yeah, fucking scrap him.
Turn him into a
Darth
Keurig.
Maul's legs.
Turn him into a Keurig.
It's like the Austin Powers thing. I could kill him right now. You know?
Yeah, right.
Just kill him. I have a gun. Let's just kill him right now.
Just
Like,
put
no,
bam,
that's
bam.
not how it works, Scott, or whatever his name is.
So I also had the question: would Mace Windu have traded Anakin for Grievous in that situation?
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
Right?
Well, Padme would.
Padme steps in, right?
Yeah.
She steps in and is like, well,
No,
he's special.
Padme
No, she
is
wasn't
like
going
cool
to.
with Padme's like not wanting to make the deal.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's like, hey, we got to make sacrifices. She's
Yeah,
cold-blooded.
it's just my husband, my secret husband.
Yeah, and then the Gungans are like, no, I think we need to make the swap. She's like, fine.
I don't know why to have
Padme.
Mace Windu in there. Was Mace?
Well, Mace is just a hard ass anyways.
Okay.
So yeah, I see why you put that, because I don't think that he would
I'm
have.
trying to remember the episode now. I just guess I didn't.
She just made some comment about how like, hey, if you want to win the war, like it was something like that. It was like, whoa, like you're just cool with like not getting him back. That's
Good for
just
her.
weird. to me.
Ever since he was horned up in season 2 and just
She
trying
just-
to get a
she's had
piece,
enough.
she's just been cold to him. Just shut that shit down. How'd she get pregnant? We don't know.
He's haunted by that kiss. He's thinking about it.
Yeah, the other guy.
Well, and that whole scene too with Jar Jar acting like the leader and Grievous just growling over and over, that was just excruciating, that scene. It was so brutal to watch. Where Grievous is just like, why are you doing that? Why are you saying this? Roar! And he just kept doing it over and over again. I was like, can we end this? This is just fucking dumb.
Well, there's a lot of like, it wasn't as bad as it's been in past seasons because
True.
it didn't feel as much for kids. Like it wasn't those kid episodes, but there were a few moments where I was like, oh yeah, that's right. This one has to be for the kids. Like there was a lot of explanation. Was one of the episodes where Obi-Wan was the traded faces. There was a conversation that happened between like one of the guys in the hologram suit or something where they basically, it was all exposition. And I was like, why the fuck are they having this conversation? And I was like, oh, it's so the kids will catch on and be like, oh, this is the moment of the story. Yeah.
Right.
Well, when we go to episode 5 and it's
Let's go there.
Oh, man.
it's an R2 and C-3PO have their own adventure. I was like, I just want to skip this one. Like, I don't care about these two.
I had the same feeling, and I must have blocked it out after that because, like, I'm reading these next two things.
Well, they go into the planet with the toxins are coming up from the underground. They accidentally open up the rift.
And the tree people are down below, and that like they can't deal with the surface air, and the people down below can't deal with their air, and so there's like a breach. It's the most obvious thing in the world. They're like, there must be some sort of breach. It's like, you mean the giant hole we came through that was just barely
the
open?
manhole cover that you accidentally moved. Put it back. Like this whole episode, I labeled it was a Lord of the Rings ripoff because you got the people underground. They were acting like the Ents, the Ent people from
they were
Lord of the
definitely
Rings,
Ents.
the trees,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm almost positive the riddle that the siren down below like spits out, the river riddle. It has a mouth but never eats, has a something
Has
but
a
never
bed but
sleeps,
doesn't
has a bed
sleep,
never
yeah.
sleeps. I'm pretty sure that was one of the fucking riddles between Bilbo and Gollum when they had their riddle contest over the ring.
Oh, okay.
Not over the ring, over whether Bilbo was going to escape in The Hobbit. Like, I almost am positive about that, but it could have been from the Dark Tower.
Well,
too,
they're
'cause
not
they did a bunch
hiding
of
the fact
riddles.
that they're taking stuff from movies as fans, so
but
I
that
would
was
not
like
be surprised
a
by that.
blatant, like, they used the same fucking riddle. I was like, okay, so the whole episode seemed to me like it was a Lord of the Rings.
Maybe Dave
ripoff.
Filoni was like, "Is that riddle in public domain?" Yep.
It was
Yeah,
either
I mean, I had heard that riddle before for sure. I
Yeah.
just couldn't remember where it was from.
it was either from the Lord of the Rings or it was either that or the Dark Tower.
You know,
it was in the
we
Dark
could look
Tower,
it up.
Could have been. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but then where's the fun in that?
Right. Yeah.
And then we go from 40% to 50%.
Oh, we
gotta
stay at 40.
Where we're at.
Yeah.
Gotta stay where we're at.
Yeah.
But they kind of give them, instead of I think last season, I almost said last year, last season they only had the one episode where they had to go get the stupid dessert topper.
Spa day.
This time they get two,
Right.
and the second one is just bananas. It's like this mix of Gulliver's Travels and Wizard of Oz.
I had
And all
Darby
these-
O'Gill and the little people on there.
Yeah, they had like the Lilliputians because they show up and there's all these little people, and I love it because they had their leader was called Jesus, and they go and C-3PO like slaps R2 on the back and he falls on him and just squishes Jesus, and everybody's like, well, he's dead. He's our leader.
It's like Die Hard 4. It's Hey Zeus, motherfucker. Like
3.
Die Hard 3, yeah.
I'll
Like,
shove a lightning bolt up
got a
your
Zeus,
ass,
got
Zeus.
father of Zeus. Shove a blind mold up your ass.
And then they go to that other planet and it's the droids that are running like a hologram. And it's a total Wizard of Oz thing. Pull back the curtain and you see what's actually running the hologram.
Yeah.
Yeah, where were they going with these two? Like, no one likes those.
That was one of the announcements. Was so there's a new show coming out called Droids, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And like every time these come on, I'm like, who the fuck is begging for more droids?
I don't know.
Like nobody.
I'd like to
supporting
see
characters.
battle bots. Maybe we can do something like that.
Yeah, R2 and C-3PO in a fucking octagon and let them go at it.
Well, they
I gotta
kind
give it to
of
R2
were
now.
trying to do that in that episode. They were going to put them in this like cockfighting ring, and I think Grievous attacked or something at that point, and it kind of broke it all up. And then they were able to get rescued and get off of it.
So there seems to be that whole subculture of like human rights for the artificially intelligent.
Yeah,
almost.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's kind of like a theme that they almost are trying to tackle, or it's reoccurring at least to say the very least.
Yeah, but the beauty is those end, and that's when everything kicks in. So because the last 15 episodes or whatever were great. The whole Umbara 4-part deal. I mean, I wanted to kill that effer Krell. I was like, this motherfucker is gonna get them all killed, and he doesn't give a shit. And he was driving me bananas.
Before we get into that, though, we should call in the subject matter expert on artificial intelligence as to whether or not they have human rights, like sex robots and such. What do you think, Matt? Like,
No.
just to be used at your pleasure.
So you like I can't believe you didn't sympathize with Krell. Like, look at he looks at the clones like you look at robots.
Yeah.
The clones are actually human beings. Granted, they were made in a lab,
Right.
and he really makes a big point about that. He really wants to. He refuses to call them by name, only by number.
Only number.
Gets all into that, but I think the clones have humanized themselves in my eyes enough that I was taking their side, because that guy was a dick from the
Did you
second
get
he got there.
Did you get the idea? So I want to spend a little time on this.
He
So
flipped the script as soon as Anakin left the planet.
well, I mean, I almost thought like this was because he lands and says, "Hey, Anakin, Palpatine needs you. You got to go." And he's like, "I'm in the middle of a fucking war. Well, I'm just sent here. You got to go." And it almost seemed like he was sent to get him off planet so he could be this evil. I was like, I felt there was like some more bad history or something that was going to happen, or there was going to be a big reveal. And really, it was just like he was really good at winning battles, but like even the clone said, he has more deaths on his watch than anybody else. Because he didn't fucking care about the clones.
Yeah.
But I was waiting for like him to be a servant of Dooku or something, because he was not a Jedi. Like, he lived by no code for the Jedi. So he was lost.
And interesting too, why did Anakin get called out? Because Palps wanted him. Palps ordered him back to Coruscant.
Right, but we never saw any of that, did we?
No, so you could have been
I
full
don't
of shit.
remember.
He could have just been making it up.
Yeah.
We never saw what Anakin did either, right? Like,
We don't.
We never saw any of that. We just know that they had to get to a certain point to help Obi-Wan, who was trying to get to the city. And I mean, the planet is covered in darkness and fluorescent light bulb trees. But the fucking camera work and the way that they map this whole thing out, and I fucking was blown away by how like fast paced and for like, I haven't really enjoyed the clone episodes as much. I more and more like the last season when we had the Bad Batch episode, and there was a few ones I was like, and maybe it's because I'm starting to get to know some of the characters, Fives and Echo, and the new guy they introduced in this one. What was his name? Like, who's the guy with the minigun? Like Hard Hammer, or what the fuck was his name?
Hard
Case?
Hard
Was it
Case?
Hard Case?
I think
Yeah.
it's Hard Case.
You know, like so you're getting to know all these characters, but I really loved like wherever all of it was going. I mean, this in this whole episode, I mean, the theme was like, are you a person if you're a clone, right?
Well, I put a note in here. You can see why the clones had no problems executing Order 66 at that point. Like, after how many commanders just mistreated him like this? You know, this is granted. Krell ended up being was he a Sith wannabe? Like, he was dark side, right?
What did he say? He was more of like a separatist sympathizer.
He was trying to replace Dooku.
No, he wanted to be his
get
apprentice.
noticed by Dooku.
He thought that if he delivered this planet to Dooku, that he would take him in and be basically his second in command. He was trying to prove himself. He was sick of the Jedi.
He must not have known the rule of the Sith. There's always two,
right?
A master and an apprentice.
Well, I mean, to be fair, maybe he had back channel information, because at this point, Dooku doesn't have a second.
Dooku had Ventress.
Yeah, but
right?
she's gone, and
But
Savage is gone. So right now he doesn't have.
It's a
anyone.
rotating cast.
Yeah.
You always want to be in the wings just in case he needs you.
Step in.
Exactly.
Have your resume. Keep your resume up to
seen,
date.
for two things,
That's
you've seen Dooku's silk pajamas, and you've seen that big ass bed. So you know he's got room for a third.
He's gonna give Krell a trial. What can you do with those
he
forearms?
is. That big old frog mouth.
Yeah. What's that mouth do, Krell?
Yeah, but it was just brutal watching him like, nope, full frontal assault. Go. Like, no, we're going to go right through this gorge.
Yeah.
Well, you get to
this
see
narrow gorge.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You get to see the bit of the morality the clones have too.
Mm-hmm.
Like they make decisions on what's right. They disobey his orders a few times to like they hijack those ships to take out those tanks.
Learn how to fly them. Yeah.
And then like he orders the execution of the 2 clones that like end up basically just saving his ass. Like those 2 clones that went off. Was it Fives and Hardcase, I think. And they go off and like now he's gonna say, oh, as
because they disobeyed his order
for your reward, like we're gonna kill you. That's like it's so stupid.
Yeah, it was Fives and Jesse. Hardcase is the one who bought it.
Okay.
He's the one who took one for the team and blew up the reactor. Don't you love, by the way, a little callback to Phantom Menace?
Yeah, was it? Yeah.
How he says Anakin told me when he was younger how you can blow up the reactor and it blows up the whole ship, and I was like, nice little callback.
Drive right down the center.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh, did you? Yeah,
I did catch the callback to when the clones are like, we've had enough, and they go in there to kill him, and he's like, it's treason then, right? That was a Dooku line. Dooku used that line in 3.
You know, I got to take better notes like you do because there was a lot of callbacks or a lot of visual cues to past movies throughout this season. And I kept mental note. And I was like, I'm not going to remember all of these.
Well, that's what he says, right? Because he's got... And I'll give Krell this. That dude can fucking lightsaber battle.
Man.
He's got 4
I want to see
them.
him and Grievous go at it.
I'd like to see
Grievous. Did you hear that?
What? He normally adds an extra I in there.
Yeah. Grievous?
Yeah. There's an I, but it's before the V. But and I was watching a thing, or what was I watching earlier? I think it was a meme. If you read something and that's how you have it in your head for so long, and then when you hear it later or whatever, you can't. And it was so funny because this was just a few days after like the mocking and ridicule happened on fucking Twitter. And I see this, I was like, that's why I fucking do it.
I guess
although
I missed
some
that.
of it I do on purpose,
Twitter
like
feed.
Ashoka,
Right.
and there was another one. I almost was like, you know what? Let me point out. I was like, no, fuck it. I'm gonna play games with these fuckers.
I like how you put one tweet out just on its own, not part of a thread that just said
I'm leaving.
Beef Carga started it all. Or Beef Cargo started it all.
I was waiting for someone to fucking hit on that. No, you saw it though. Okay, good.
That was great. There's a lot of callbacks, of course, to the movies in Star Wars. There was another one in that episode, I think it was the 3rd one of that group, where they're trying to figure out how to fly the starfighters, and it's making a bunch of noise, and Krell's like on the mic with him. He's like, "What's going on down there?" And he's doing the whole Han Solo in the detention center, like, "We're fine here. How are you?"
Yep.
We're running a drill.
Yep.
Got a slight reactor leak. Give us a second to try to lock it down.
Yeah.
All in all, like I really loved this. Made me more than anything so far. I was like, oh, now I'm looking forward to the Bad Batch because I've seen it now. Like it's on screen. We had 4 episodes of really, other than Krall, like the main cast of characters weren't any part of this.
Right, exactly. And so that's and each time they do, I mean, I know at first you were saying you weren't getting into the clone episodes as much, but I feel like from the start I was just really interested in their backstory. And so every time there's an episode that focuses on them, I find myself really interested. But then again, they bounce around and I'm still locked in as long as it's not a certain couple of characters that I just can't really deal with. Grievous is one that I continue to struggle with for some reason.
I really like that character.
I know you like him, but he kind of rubs me the wrong way for some reason. I like at one point too how, as far as like the humanization of the clones and all that kind of thing, at one point, because of the way he Krell treats them, 5 says, "I'm not just another number." And I was like, well, dude, your name.
Out of everybody, you're the numbers.
You're not the one to make that call.
Yeah. Should somebody tell him? One of us needs to tell him. Who wants to do it?
Now's not the time, Echo.
So then he wants to execute those 2. They basically say no. Then of course that one kind of, nose up his ass guy. What's his name? Dogma.
Yeah.
It's like, but guys, we gotta shoot him.
Yeah.
We gotta follow orders.
He's all up Krall's ass.
Yeah.
It's Krell, not Krull.
That's what I said.
What is Krull from? Krull is from How to Date a Guy in 10 How to Date a Guy in 10
Krell.
Days. You keep saying Krull.
I said that wrong. Yeah, I read that wrong.
When he names his penis Krull the Warrior King.
Who does?
Matthew McConaughey and How to Get a Guy in 10 Days. She starts calling his penis Princess Fiona or Princess Sophia.
I haven't seen that
Like, no,
since like
Krull.
I first got on DVD
It's Krull, the Warrior King.
22 years ago.
Okay.
Every now and again, I walk through our living room and like my lady friend has stopped on that movie, and so I've seen it. I've seen like 90-second bursts of that movie.
Oh,
It's actually a pretty
it
good
was
little
funny. I remember it being
rom-com.
really funny. Yeah.
So then he does the whole thing, Krell, to really like put it over the top.
Crawl.
That whole ruse, that whole ruse of a message saying, "Hey, the Umbarans are coming and they've got your gear, so they might look
Yes.
like you." And he sets them up to basically kill each other. You get
Yeah.
to see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
That motherfucker. And then the main leader guy pulls his helmet off and runs through. We're all the same. Like,
Rex.
Was it Rex?
Uh,
That was Rex.
yeah.
I think it was Rex. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
tackles one of the other guys, and they realize
Right.
what they've done. They're all miserable. But then they're like, okay, well, we need to go get this guy because this is
Yep.
bullshit, and we got to go get him. And once they got him and were able to put him in the brig or whatever, and then there was kind of that moment of like him talking shit, like, you know, basically like, you're not going to kill me. And
I'm going to
Rex
escape
pointed
eventually.
the gun. The second Rex pointed the gun at him and was kind of hesitating, I was like, that dogma dude's going to shoot him. I just
Yeah.
knew he was going to try to
Oh.
do some little redemption and end up pulling the gun.
I didn't see that coming at all.
He had no problem ending that
Yeah.
dude's life.
Yeah, no, not at all. He was done. He felt bad about it.
Yeah, hands down, worst Jedi commander ever on scene.
You know, it would have. I think the one flaw, because like he was such an intimidating character, and like that arc was pretty good. I mean, but it would have been had they introduced him in an episode or two in other seasons, so we kind of had an idea of who he is, and then seen like the way that he changed. Would have been fucking amazing. But I mean, he served his purpose. So
We need to do a Krull series.
yeah, exactly.
Tell his backstory.
Yeah, start the rumors.
So then we move on, right? Unless you have anything else on those.
No. I just that was when I started noticing the direction, like how fast paced it was and the way the cameras were moving, and there was I can't even put my finger on it yet. I'll have to go back and watch these, but like there was something that changed with the way that everything was moving. And from then on, I noticed it.
I could be wrong, but I feel like in the first couple seasons, the directors, when you looked at who directed the episodes, they really bounced around a lot.
Mhm.
If you look at this season, whenever you'd see it, there'd be like 4 in a row by the same director because
Yeah.
it was that storyline. So they'd let him do the entire story.
Perfect.
And I think that kept everything a little bit tighter.
Yeah, seamless.
Right. So after the Krell like arc or storyline, we go into this the Kyros, the Zygerians and the Kyros, right? The slavers, and
Ahsoka's people.
Ahsoka's people, which is cool.
Yep.
We finally got to kind of
Right.
put a name to what species she is.
And they're like the Switzerland of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I put in my notes the pacifist planet of Kyros.
Mhm.
This is what you get when you let the government take your guns.
Wow.
That was for you, Matt.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome, buddy.
Well, there's a number of them that came up, I think, last season where there were a number of systems that were independent that didn't want to be part of
Yes.
either the Separatists
Well-
or the Republic.
When are these people or when are these, I guess, species gonna
What do you
learn
mean by you people?
their lessons that? Well, there was another pacifist group.
It doesn't
of people,
do any
right?
good to
Like,
be peaceful
well,
in a time
what were the
of
ones
civil
that are
war.
like they were like ancient, like little. They're the little miniature
Little
guys,
dudes.
the little guys, and they're like, we will not begot violence on anyone, and blah blah.
Oh
blah,
yeah,
blah.
the ones with the huts or whatever, and
Yeah,
the giant
yeah.
trees.
Like,
And
you
in the
guys
end,
are
they
just-
did.
Yeah.
You guys are just cannon fodder. Like, stop.
Yeah, right.
Get out of the way. Your system is pointless. Just move to the side while this war goes. Well, in the scheme of things, like, you have no warriors.
In war, it's pointless, right?
Every system gets pulled into it
Mm-hmm.
because there's some value in every planet, so that they're eventually one of the sides is going to come to take their planet and get their allegiance.
Well, that's where the Separatists have a real, like, advantage. They can sit back and wait, and then, like, if the fucking Senate and the not the Separatists, what's the other side?
Republic.
The Republic, I guess, whatever you call it, don't go and defend those people. They're like, well, these guys don't care. We're part of the Republic, and you don't care
Yeah.
about us. So that's a real tactical advantage to the Separatists, where they can just fuck with those
They just come in
unarmed
with
systems and just do whatever they want. And then
fucking plate of brownies.
you can also just harvest the resources off of that planet and
Mm-hmm.
fund your war.
Every time
and
Doku,
it's a quick turn. Like it happens here. It's like, we're going to help you out. Now, just so you know, I mean, it happened with the water planet with the Quarren. We're going to enslave all these people. You know what I mean? It's a fast turn. The second you say, okay, we're cool with you, Dooku, he just turns on you immediately.
You guys didn't catch it. I was going to go on a fucking rant. I said Doku. I'm trying to fucking just keep it going.
Doinku.
Doink-coo. Doink.
But we meet Dar's Dinar though. That was the other voice I was gonna do, the bird guy. I just love that they've got cat people, a cat guy that's obsessed with keeping birds, and it was the most like, who came up with that?
Sylvester versus Tweety type of
100% that. It was so ridiculous when I saw it. It's the first thing I thought of.
Obi-Wan in the last couple seasons just gets his fucking ass whipped a bunch.
Yeah.
He's sitting there like Anakin's out there searching for the bombs with Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan's up there just taking a fucking beating from that slaver. He's just throwing him around the chamber, and he's like supposed to be negotiating, and he's like, well, I hope Anakin gets to these bombs on time. Well, I'm going to be a submissive masochist to this guy up here. The slaver's going fucking
that was
medieval on me.
This was like halfway through this where they set up it's the Return of the Jedi setup, right? He goes in and he becomes like her right hand man. He brings Ahsoka and he's gonna sell her as a slave. R2's fucking packed and loaded with enough fucking lightsabers to you know, like
they have the barge scene. They do the barge scene.
Yes, and but there's even the was it Rex that's in the helmet?
Yes,
and
he's Lando.
He keeps doing the nod to him, and he's nodding back, and I'm like,
I missed all that. That's
man,
good, guys.
it was all Return of the Jedi.
Salute. Yeah, he does do the salute.
He does the salute. Anakin does the same salute that Luke does. It's all the same. The only thing you were missing is the fart horn sound in the build-up. Everything else was exactly the same. That's why I wrote down. I was like, okay, so Ahsoka is Leia, Rex is Lando, Anakin's Luke, Kenobi is Han, and R2 is sitting there ready to launch those sabers, and he does it the same exact way. It's like frame for frame.
Yeah, the slow nod with the fucking
yeah. What are they doing? Why are you guys doing that?
No one else catches it. It's like Jack Nicholson from Anger Management.
It's a big tell.
Yeah, he's not a good poker
What are you
player.
doing? Why do you keep nodding to
Or
that
are we going to
stranger
do
over
the
there?
thing now?
Yeah. To go real quick to skip, but let's stay on this. But when we get the Mandalorian episode, the part where they're in the tent and they're getting attacked, and fucking R2 like arms up with the fucking lightsaber. He's like, he opens up. He's like, huh? And she's like, no, not now.
No. He's like, oops.
No, sorry. He's like, he's always ready to eject those things. I got you, babe.
I've done this before many times.
R2's got some gumption to him. He's ready to go
He's
at a moment's notice.
droid.
Yep. I love R2.
Yeah, he's the best droid for sure. So I'm trying to think what else happens. So yeah, I mean, basically they end up on that planet with that queen. And the queen, I mean,
she's got a fancy for Anakin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anakin is all up in that. And
She's
is just
thirsty.
wooing her to death.
Get her a shot of Spotchko with a little side of
You know,
Anakin
he was
too.
like, you know what? Padme ain't gave me any in a while.
She had that.
What's it? Different area codes? How's it work in Star Wars? You're on a different planet?
Yeah. Different.
We were on a break.
Yeah.
Well, and again, to go back to the TV PG thing, another fucking a slave runs to the end and just jumps off and kills herself. Like, this is what you're showing
Twi'lek.
kids?
Yeah.
Then you also get, I think the whole thing, I think there's a whole Dom sub vibe here because Anakin force chokes the shit out of that slaver mistress girl.
Yeah, he does.
And then after that, she's like, oh.
Yeah. She was like,
Yeah.
you
Spit in my
awakened
mouth.
my demons.
Take these rings off my neck and use them to choke me. She had the whole neck ring.
Josh, is your daughter still listening?
I hope not. The slavers. So Rex smokes that one slaver master with the javelin. That was a pretty cool little thing.
Yeah, he had no problem. He's like, because he's like, you're not going to kill me. You're a Jedi.
I will.
Yeah. That was the guy in the hover chair.
Yeah, that was
that whole slave, like the floating fortress and I love that whole thing.
That was a whole callback to Waterworld, like where what's his face? He's like, you said you wouldn't kill me. Did I say that? All right, I may have. And he hands his gun to his second guy. And he's like, okay.
He has him do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he just has them standing on those like circles, and he's just like, button, no, they all just go falling. Like,
Yeah, did you notice that? Like, there's a whole group of them, 5 of them off the front. And he's like, now that I have your attention,
Yeah.
he just kills 5 slaves right off the jump.
Oh, he's got a bunch.
Yeah.
What an
He
asshole.
does. He has a lot.
Anyone in a floating chair in the Star Wars universe can suck a dick. I hate them all.
I hate floating chair
But then,
people.
like the capture or the rescue, with the big ship. Ahsoka's like, no, bring the whole ship down here.
Yeah, that
Just
was kind of
park
cool.
it, drop them all. Yeah, they blow the whole fortress thing up. All of it was great.
Well, and Obi-Wan and Rex are doing like hard labor in basically the Temple of Doom. It was almost the exact same scene where they're down there getting whipped and hauling stuff out of the the underworld. It just reminds. So it was another call back to another movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they even had carts they were pushing, right? Like they were pushing those little carts, the mine carts. That was like that was like a whole. That's a good parallel as well. I guess I missed that one.
And then they get out of there, and I think that they kind of blow the whole facility, right? They kind of blow the whole place up, and then see you later. Peace out.
Like Star Wars, happy ending.
Exactly. Well, then we come on to this next episode, which is episode 14. And this is where I typically have favored the 2, 3, 4 episode arcs where they tell a whole story from beginning to end that way. This was one of the best one-off episodes. And this is because it was the Mandalore stuff.
Right,
It was Death Watch. And it was only one episode. It was really well contained and it was great. There was so much awesome action. We got to see Bo-Katan, which was pretty freaking awesome.
But that
was her, though, right?
At first I was like, is that Bo? Because she never took her helmet off.
Right. So I knew it was a female.
It was her. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was her.
And you get old boy with the Darksaber, Pre Vizsla.
Yep.
Right. He
Yeah.
comes
Jon
out.
Favreau.
Favreau. Yep.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Then the Darksaber looks pretty wicked in action.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a void of space where
Exactly,
where it
yes,
goes. It's this weird vibe to it,
Mm-hmm.
You also get a little bit of the is it Lux Banteri and Ahsoka?
That's the kid. Yeah.
They're kind of a little item, right?
Right.
Probably
yeah.
her first kiss. Let's be real.
Yeah.
He has to plant one on her right there. I'm sure that was
grabbed
her
her
first kiss.
I mean, if you think about it, he's probably going to get canceled.
Here we go with the cancel again.
She didn't ask for it.
Did not consent.
Right.
Yeah.
He's the Pepe Le Pew of the Star Wars universe.
For two guys who watched or who listened to an episode of my other podcast and then turned it off, canceled me. You guys sure talk about canceling a lot.
Jay turned that off for my mental health, I think.
Yeah.
I would have sat there and listened to it as my penance.
Oh, it was getting really, really warm in the car.
I would have taken my punishment.
Okay.
I would have sat there.
I just want that on record that you canceled OLN. Anyway,
I'm going back and I'm going to listen to that. I'm going to sleep to it tonight.
Oh God. I'm gonna wake up with like his sheets ripped apart.
I'm gonna let it like seep into my brain waves as I sleep tonight. No sounds of the ocean for me tonight. It's gonna be.
By the way, Death Watch, bunch of dicks.
Yeah, they're not good
just
people.
a-holes.
Yeah.
No, and he's like, he kills that girl after he's like, yeah, I'll bring your daughter back, so I can kill her right in front of you. And then they get the flamethrowers out, much to Cole's delight, but not in this.
Burn the village.
Just burn the whole Japan village.
Yeah, it was no good. So you really start to get a feeling where it's like, Bo, you're on this side. Maybe you are going to be a villain. Too.
Yeah, but like she's young in this, right? So we're like, she's impressionable. We'll let her. She hasn't come into her own and tried to challenge anything yet.
And we clearly will see Lux again because he and Ahsoka have something brewing there.
We're actually, I think I've seen a few more of the Mandalorian episodes because there was that time when I was skipping the season, just watching the batches on each season. So, because I'm watching this and I was like, did I watch this before?
Well, refresh me. Who was his mom? Lux Banteri. She was on Mandalore. Was she one of the? Was she the?
She was in the Senate or whatever it's called for the Separatists, and she was so Satine went and talked to her.
Yeah, there's that one episode where Satine and Ahsoka went to the palace or wherever she was. Yeah, it was like a standalone last season, and that's when he kept giving her the old googly eyes, and she's like, she wanted nothing to do with
they
him.
were gonna they were trying to force or kind of trying to forge some sort of peace, and that's when Dooku blew the whole thing up, and then she ended up being killed, which is by Dooku, and that's why that Bonteri guy comes in and is like, "You killed my, mother."
I was trying to remember the backstory to that, but somehow I blanked it out for some reason. I couldn't put it together. But I mean, it's not super integral to the plot. But you just know that Lux was pissed off his mom was dead.
Yeah,
right.
And it was all Dooku's fault. So he hires the Mandalorian Night Watch crew to go in there, and he's got a code. He can blame Dooku, and they're going to kill him.
Warns him, these are not good people.
She sure did.
These are the terrorists on Mandalore. And then he's like, well, we'll be fine. You should have stayed on the ship. Yeah, like she's going to stay on the ship.
Yeah,
and she gets his ass back to the ship. They escape, and then he leaves in a freaking.
She does the fucking Armageddon on him.
Yeah,
the hand on the glass.
Close my eye. I was thinking Captain Kirk and Spock, but whatever.
Yeah, that too. He was the most human. Sorry.
I never saw Star Wars.
The next. The next few episodes are, I assume, where you really got excited, Jay, because you were talking about the box, which we'll get to. What's in the box?
Yeah.
But this whole series of episodes was fucking fantastic. So this was Moralo Evolve.
Don't even say his name. I'm tired of hearing that fucking name.
Oh, because he talks about himself in third person?
He says it in the third person so many times. No one does this to Moralo Evolve. Like, if he says his fucking name one more time, I'm turning this off.
Are you questioning Moral's fucking plan?
That's right.
So yeah, he has the plan to kidnap Palps and then gets captured. And then I love the plan that they come up with, Yoda and Mace and Obi-Wan, where they're like, you're going to get sniped. We're going to pretend you're dead. And then you're going to go undercover as the sniper,
right? Change
your face. And then you're going to find out what the plot is. It made me think immediately when he woke up and they're like, hey, how you doing? And he's like, oh, and he shows the where he got shot. It made me think of Dumb and Dumber. Well, what if they shot you in the face?
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. What if they shoot me in the face? There's a chance we had to take.
Why didn't I get a gun?
Yeah, because like you don't know any of this at first. You just like, you know, they're attacked by an assassin. They go on this whole adventure through rooftops and shit. We're playing Batman,
and they keep fucking Anakin in the dark once again.
Right.
You wonder why this guy
he's not
turned
happy about that.
Poor fucking Annie is not happy about this.
You think about
how many lies have you been telling me?
And how many times has the Jedi Council lied to us?
Calm down, fucking kid. That right there is like, you know what? I'm gonna kill them all.
Younglings, line up.
Yep.
And they put on quite a show for the funeral. Satine's there crying. Like they did the whole thing, that beam of light coming up. They really they did quite a show. I hope at some point there's video of that and Kenobi gets to see how people reacted to it.
Yeah. Everyone should be able to have that, you know, relive that moment.
He's got his ultimate thing. Like, you always want to know how people going to react to my funeral.
Do you know how many times I fantasized about faking my own death just to like be there and be like, although like the idea is I'll come out and be like, hey. And then I feel like I'd have no friends.
They would never like you again. It would be over.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts.
Hey, you got to do better than that. Come up with something
just
better
like come out of the coffin. What are you crying about? Fucking like everyone just turns around and leaves. I'm stuck with the banquet bill.
Turn it into a flash mob.
A lot of ham on buns.
Someone's got to help me eat all these dill pickles.
Yeah.
So we get to see Cad Bane comes back. And, shout out to little angry adolescent Boba. He's doing some hard time. He's in the prison. He's always got that mean look on his fucking face. He's pissed off in there. But he helps with the escape, right? He helps get
he starts a prison riot.
Starts the riot.
Shout out to little angry Boba.
He makes his little face too. So yeah, but they really put Obi-Wan through the ringer to get to this. They really fucking sell it.
Great plot, great movement. You know, he goes from a prison escape to there's a whole episode of them like running from the law, stealing spaceships. He's trying to prove himself, and then the whole idea is they have to get to this planet, and the top bounty hunters have to go through this competition, which is the box. Which is, if you guys have ever seen the movie The Cube, this is the fucking cube.
No, I haven't seen that.
I was thinking Saw, more of a Saw type of a thing.
Cube was early, but yeah, it was like these 5 people, I think it was 5 people, wake up and they have to learn to survive, and they go through these rooms, like they'll walk through a vent, and all of a sudden like a laser will fucking just cut someone in half, down to 4.
How desperate are these bounty hunters for work? They're the top 10 bounty hunters in the galaxy, and they're all like, yeah, all 10 of you guys are going to go in here. I'm telling you right now, if 7 of you make it through, we're going to kill 2.
Right.
And the 5th one is going to...
I think it's almost a narcissism thing, right? Like, I'm one of the best. I know I'm coming out of this.
I can make this through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then...
Yeah, I think it's part of the lure of the job is that,
right.
You know, the chance that they're going to get killed at any particular time.
And who knew that Obi-Wan was that good of a sniper? Right, he's fucking.
Yeah, that was almost like maybe that was like, is he using the Force? Right, is that how we're gonna Because I don't think we've ever seen like Obi-Wan just fucking pick up ever, but all of a sudden he's fucking crack shot. It's like champion duck hunt player.
When does he do? He does
nailed it.
He has a blaster at one point, and he says so uncivilized. Remember that?
Yeah.
He uses a blaster at one point.
Wasn't that a deodorant commercial? Back in the day,
I do remember that vaguely. Yes,
right.
I also like the fact that just out of nowhere they're going to I think it was Anakin and Ahsoka when they're out in the galaxy looking around, and they're like, we need to go find somebody. Let's go to where the scum hang out at the saloon. So they go to the saloon.
Yeah.
Did you see who was walking out of the saloon? Drunk ass Snooty. She's like, "Oh, I
Yes,
love you, girl."
yes.
I heard her.
Yes.
I heard her. I didn't see her. I was
There
like,
was
gotta
two
be
people
kidding me.
carrying her out.
I was texting something on my phone and I heard that fucking voice. I was like, what? I
Yeah.
popped up and looked at the screen.
Yep.
She's still living right.
I was watching on my phone, so like I didn't have, but I'm like, right when I heard the voice, I was like,
Oh.
you know who that is?
Yeah, that was
She had
terrible.
she must have cashed in on a good life insurance policy
Right.
on like
Yeah.
old hot boy.
She's
What's his
like,
name?
play Zero song. She's in there in the jukebox playing fucking Star Wars country.
That was almost a Matt impression right there. Play Zero
Yeah.
song. That was pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that whole sequence was great, and the whole box sequence was that episode. It felt like it lasted 4 minutes. It just went bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
It was done. So that was pretty sweet.
It was basically an elimination round. They go into a room, they got to solve a puzzle. Like as people, fucking Obi-Wan is the master at all of it, and then well, you're so good, we'll just like take you out of it.
Well, and in the meantime, like Dooku is on to the plot the entire time.
Right.
He's got a
He
intercom.
sniffs it
Intercom inside of like Obi-Wan's sniper rifle kit, and Obi-Wan's like relaying information
when they
to
go
the,
to do the assassination in the
to
fourth episode. Yeah.
and he's relaying the information to the Jedi, and then the guy on the stairs who's there for like 20 minutes. Obi-Wan spots him like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's gonna get smoked.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets through and turns off the ray generator. And I was thinking that this would have been a good like ending to the Clone Wars, because Episode 3 of Star Wars, you start with Dooku and Grievous had done this outrageous plot to capture Palpatine from the Capitol, and then Obi-Wan and Anakin are chasing him down at the beginning of Episode 3, right? That's when they kill Dooku.
I don't.
Like-
Episode 3 opens up with a giant space battle.
Right.
I'm
well,
trying
they're
to remember what
they're chasing.
after that.
They get onto the ship, and then it's Palpatine is being held hostage by Dooku. Remember?
No, I don't remember that part.
I remember that part. I'm forgetting the sequencing of the beginning of that film, but you're right. I do remember that.
Yeah, because then that's when Anakin
So you're right. It would
cuts
tie.
Dooku's head off, and like I felt like this.
yeah.
I felt like this was the plot, because they say in the credits to opening of number 3, a daring attack on the Capitol has
Yes.
they got Palpatine, and they're trying to escape, and then Obi-Wan and Anakin chase him down.
Right.
And I felt like that this would have been that plot.
But the capital, they mean Coruscant, and this is
Right.
on Naboo.
Right.
Yeah.
I felt like this would have been that plot where Palpatine got captured and was taken off.
No, I follow what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought this would be a cool logical ending to
Did
the
you think
series.
that was a good idea?
What's that?
I thought you were doing it intentional. Like, I thought you were trying to keep doing it. On Naboo? I'm trying to say words wrong.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then Anakin has an interesting quote at the end of that episode. He says, "As long as I live, no harm will ever come to you." He says that to the Palps,
Yeah. And then
which is
what's
kind
Palp
of
say?
true, because no harm comes to him until right before Anakin dies.
Yeah. Well, Palp says, here's to you having a long and something life.
Yeah, right.
So-
And then, yeah, I am going to be the one that ends up killing you, just FYI. Although, don't worry, because you come back, sort of. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Can't wait to put a chess piece on you.
So, Asajj is back.
Yeah, I'm really liking this character.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to kill her next season. I don't know what happens to her eventually. I have no idea.
I don't either.
But she is one I could see them killing off. But I love the character. And so, yeah, she's basically coming back from exile. She goes to Dathomir. She's, comes back to Mother Talzin. Mother Talzin's like, forget Dooku. I think you just need to, be here now. This is your life now. And she has this look on her face like, I've seen what the other Night Sisters do every day. This is it? This is all I can do the rest of my life? I don't know if I'm down with this.
She's like, you need to be your own woman.
But then Dooku sends Grievous to Dathomir to kill Talzin and Asajj and all the Night Sisters. And it just turns into this massive freaking battle, which is hilarious. A couple things. One, when did Mother Talzin turn into Dracula? Have you heard her talk?
That was yes. I don't remember it being that way last season, but all of a sudden I was
either.
like, blah.
Yeah, Asajj, a Ventress. It's
Yes.
like
She's apparently
where did that come from?
She's a voodoo woman named Phyllis as well. She's fucking just out there with the dolls,
Yes.
smoking Dooku with a needle to the forehead.
Some wax smoke.
That that was the best part of that was the fact that she kept a locket of his hair, which I was like, did they break up and she couldn't let go? Like, why does she have a locket?
She's definitely holding on to something.
She went through his trash.
Yep,
his
she sure did.
Space trash. They jettisoned it out. When they left Dathomir, and she let's get some of this motherfucker's hair.
So and then that old bird sitting in the tree or whatever, Daka, who's like the old wise one who's able to
hiding in the cave. She goes in there. She's like, "We're gonna need a spell." And she's like, "I've been in here for 80 years and I'm ready."
Another Waterworld callback. She's the guy down in the pit. We're down to 4 meters of black stuff.
Dude, those zombies were fucking freaky.
Yeah, they were real freaky.
Like, did you pick out there's a shot I think when Grievous first lands and the camera kind of pans through to show like the distance between where he lands in the we'll say the palace, whatever their fucking fortress is, and you see like all these like sacks hanging from the trees, almost. And I'm like, what are these? That's where they put the dead bodies, and all of a sudden they just start like being birthed, and I'm like, fucking A.
Yeah, like a horror show.
Cole's gonna have nightmares tonight.
I was okay. I was able to watch it.
Okay.
I was in a well lit room.
All right.
But then so Grievous lays waste, and then Asajj is told by Talzin like, you need to get out of here and do something else, and so she takes off, and of course, where did she go?
The disco. Oh,
Tatooine.
Yeah, I know. Don't they all?
They all come back to Tatooine.
That's the place you gotta hide.
She walked right when she walks in the door. I was like, no, they didn't go to Tatooine, really?
Oh yeah,
it's either Tatooine or Jakku.
But the robot was running the bar.
Was the robot running the bar? I thought it was a guy.
No, it was a robot.
No, it was a guy because she gets a shot of what's it? I can't remember what it was. I was gonna save it because we were always talking Spotchka.
Was the robot running the bar at the saloon with what's her face came walking out? Then there was a robot running the bar somewhere.
It was she's like, give me a shot of Prof or Pro. I can't remember what the fuck it was.
Yes.
And he gives her a shot. She's like, give me another one.
And like, man, they animated her drinking that like a pro.
Hey, and don't fucking go try to spit a little game at Ventress in a bar.
No, you take a saber to the dick.
Saber to the dick.
I was like, even that, I was like,
on the slide.
Get Disney on the horn again.
Like just like a, there you go, you're dead.
And then it was the whole callback to where they stopped the music.
Yeah.
She dies. I was expecting her to be like, for your troubles, flipping the bartender a coin like Han does for the mess or whatever when he shoots Greedo.
Yep. And then Bosk runs into Bosk and basically, and so then he takes her back to wherever, kind of like the hang, and we meet Dengar, voiced by
with a head. Whose voice was it?
Simon Pegg.
Is that who? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and he's a character who we saw for 2 seconds in the bounty hunter scene on the bridge of the ship in Empire Strikes Back. Yeah.
And then in the Skywalker, the Rise of Skywalker, he is in one of the shots where they're walking through with Zero, I think it is, where they're walking through like a bar area, but he's got like a robot head or what is it? And they said, that's Dengar, but he's got it like he lost his head. He's like half or a robot. There's something with him.
The reptilian one?
Nope. He's the one. He's the one that's got like the scarf. He's the one that is on the.
He's
back
on the
of
back
the
of the train with Asajj when they're doing that run.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, beautiful. He's got the accent, like the British accent.
I thought that the reptilian one was one of the ones you see.
That's Bosk.
Bosk.
They were both in that scene.
He was in Empire, right?
Yep, they were both in that scene.
He's the one that opens it up and you're at his feet, and then the camera pans up and you can see him.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So you meet a lot of these bounty hunters, which was really cool, and that whole heist sequence they had.
Who did the voice?
Well, it wasn't a heist really; it was a protection job. They were trying to protect the Ark of the Covenant or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like when they loaded it on.
This was an awesome fucking train job episode. Like the heist, like it was basically cowboys and Indians robbed the train, right?
Yes, but instead it was ninjas.
But did you notice the ninja masks were it looked like the Predator without their mask on?
I did not.
The whatever the face of the mask looked like to me. I was like, oh, and then they showed it again, and it was almost like the Predator like opening his mouth, but it was all flat. That's what it looked like.
That.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. Yeah, but so many ninjas, like an endless supply of ninjas.
Right. On centipedes.
And they move like the wind.
Riding centipedes, and they had little, laser swords, I guess.
Right.
Like energy swords. They weren't laser swords because Ventress's lightsaber just trumps them.
Went right through them.
Sure.
And that was a cool episode to show like how badass she is. Like even in a group of bounty hunters who like are known to do good jobs, and she just jumped in, but she's so fucking awesome at what she does.
And then she could have kept the booty to herself, and then she comes back and splits it with the crew. I took my cut, but she also got the extra money.
Right, but and this is also like I think where we're seeing her character change.
Yes.
You know, because even Obi-Wan says, later on, he's like, "Oh, I never thought you'd be the good guy." She's, well, let's
Watch
not.
yourself.
Yeah. So she's not the good guy, but she's turning.
Yeah. Well, she was whooping ass, but also Boba actually
Little Boba was kicking ass.
was kicking some ass. He was
Right.
knocking people down left and right. I thought that was pretty impressive. But of course, in the end, he gets bound up and stuck inside the ark, and he's in lieu of the daughter.
For being a little pre-adolescent with a lot of teen angst. He was like kicking ass. Like his hand-to-hand combat, I thought was pretty good.
He takes leadership pretty well for a 12-year-old.
Yeah, he
Maybe
learned
he's
from
14.
his pop.
14
Better
at this
than
point.
the underwater kid.
So that brings us to the last two episodes. Which did you notice the red title cards?
I did. It was red instead of yellow, right?
Yeah, instead of yellow, it was
Yeah,
red.
right when it went to this one, it was yes. I noticed that right away.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
I think it was the first time it's ever happened.
And once it happened, I was like, yeah, finally we get around to this. Like I've been waiting to see what was going to happen with this. I can't believe they made us wait to the last two episodes of the season. But Dooku's sensing that Savage's power is like rising, and he knows without the Night Sisters around anymore, there's nobody to kind of keep him in check. So he's worried about that. And then, Savage continues to look for clues to find his brother.
I'm sorry. You said that wrong. Say it one more time.
Sorry.
Yeah, good. Thank you. I just had to hear it once.
So
me
he
in
goes
the
to Lothal Minor, which is that's the junk pile planet, which I just thought was incredible. Visually looked awesome. That Morley snake was ridiculous. You're right. I probably should have gone with the Morley impression. I apologize.
Well, also, like, how many different metaphors can you have for hell and Satan in this episode?
There's a acid rain. We better get ourselves.
Well, there's
inside.
the burning planet. There's the snake talking.
Snake,
There's the demon underground. He sends him down there to be fed so he can. And I'm like, good
Maul
lord.
looks like the devil.
Maul's been having a rough run of things.
Oh,
down
man.
there, he hasn't taken his lithium in a while because he's fucking schizophrenia.
And like, what a crybaby.
Yeah, his horns have grown.
Yeah, they have.
His horns have grown out of control. He has lost his mind completely. He's a fucking spider,
Yeah.
which is just off-putting.
A disjointed spider
Who
with
hooked
like
him up
half
with
of
that?
half the legs aren't even fucking working right. Like
Yeah,
he's just like
it's-
stumbling around.
Mm-hmm. He was a mess. It's like, brush your hair, Maul. Get your shit together.
Yeah, do some self-care, buddy.
And at the end,
Stop
you get that
feeling so
cool
sorry
moment
for
where
yourself.
Yoda's like telling Kenobi, "I think you're an old adversary's back." And he's like, "Who?" And then he realizes he's like, "Maul's alive."
He's like,
Got
I cut
that
that
sucker in
fucker
two.
in half.
Yeah, like Yoda never answers him directly. He's like, "He's the one who destroyed your old master." Maul? It's like, just say his
Keeps
fucking
talking
name,
around
Yoda. Quit talking in riddles, you green prick.
I love like every time they show Yoda, he's just fucking chilling in his room looking out the fucking the shades.
Yoda don't fucking hey. Yoda's president of the union. He don't go out and put his hands in the. Like, he doesn't get his hands dirty if he doesn't have to.
He
Or
served
even, like,
his
when-
time.
When
Climb the
Mace
ranks.
Windu questions, he's like, "Look, we can't send Obi-Wan out there to fight him alone. No, someone's gonna have to go with him." Oh,
There'll be someone.
There'll be someone. Just we don't know who. Trust in the Force.
Somebody told him that long ago. If you don't know the answer, just say trust in the Force.
Yeah.
you'll look dope as shit.
And
when
I'm
you
like,
say it.
fucking Mace Windu's gonna show up and wreck some shit.
That's
Nope.
like what's her face? It's like the circle back lady. She always says that at the press conferences. It's like we'll circle back to that.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That's
yeah.
like Yoda's go-to line.
It
Just
is.
trust in the
Just
Force.
trust in the Force.
We'll circle back.
Let's put a pin in that.
Yeah, put it in. We're gonna parking lot that one. We'll get to it.
So then Savage takes Maul back to Talzin, and he finds the Night Sister Slaughter, and when she goes to like help him and convert him back and then change his legs, it looks like she's literally pulling the crazy out of his head. Did you
Yeah,
notice
that's
that?
fucking really cool.
It was
Yeah.
bizarre.
And it was like almost a biomechanical like snake type. She was like building his legs, like
But
rebuilding his legs.
rebuilds them out of all the droid parts that are laying all over the fucking wasteland from the fight that took place 2 episodes ago.
Right, and so like she starts making his legs for him, and then he's got the baby fawn thing where he wakes up.
Right,
and he's
yeah.
like, "Duh."
Like Bambi.
Yeah, like walking around.
I'm learning to walk again.
He's got the 3 toes. Right, it's creepy.
And then
Creepy legs.
Savage is like, new legs. Sorry, I
Yeah.
can't do a Forrest Gump.
Savage with the.
He's the greatest physical therapist in the world. In 15 seconds, Maul can walk again.
Yeah, he just starts running.
Savage all fucking that entire episode. Brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, brother. I'm pretty
He's
sure
like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. It's like Hulk Hogan or Chris Farley and fucking Tommy Boy. Brother? When he opens the door.
The episode was called Brother.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And his legs are kind of crazy looking. Better. It's an improvement over the spider thing, but still
It's the legs that
kinda-
we see in Solo.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So it's a little bit off, and it also makes me think, like, how does he go to the bathroom? Or and why, if Kenobi really wants to get under his skin, do you think Kenobi's ever like, well, I got a dick, you don't? Does he ever like just needle him like that?
This is what I liked. Like, we've never seen Kenobi like lose his shit.
Yeah.
When he fucking like, haha, I killed fucking your master in front of you, and all of a sudden his
He gets
hair's
mad.
all disarray, and he's like, motherfucker, I'm coming at you.
Yeah.
And he's like, he even questions like his balance in the Force and all this shit, and he's just going at him. And I was like, ooh, I like angry Kenobi.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but he didn't perform well. He got his ass whooped.
That's true. He kept it up though.
Got to stay in balance.
He held okay. Then I like that where Ventress throws him a lightsaber and he's like, well, red's not really my color.
Right.
But yeah.
He's got some zingers this season, man.
Yeah.
He does. He's gotten less bitchy and more. I like his character more as it goes along.
Well, him and Ventress end up getting run off.
Yeah, they can't hang out with fucking brothers of Darth Maul.
The Visage brothers or Savage brothers. They're too savage. They're too savage for those motherfuckers.
And now it's all about revenge.
Yeah.
Man, he is obsessed with Kenobi. Like the second he could even speak words to anybody, Kenobi.
Like
Kenobi.
if he had a dick, he would just punish
Yeah.
it every time he said Kenobi's name.
Yeah,
Like, it's
it's
just
all about
a
him.
little too aggressive, buddy. Let's take it down a notch.
Yeah. So then Ventress and Kenobi kind of have their little, Rey, Kylo back to back fighting with lightsabers moment,
Right.
and escape.
And you know what? How do they not throw Duel of Fates in this? Like, to me, I was waiting for like something to match up to even on Naboo when they fought the first time and the shield comes up and Maul has to pace like a fucking tiger in a cage. And all of a sudden goes, I was waiting for like the duality of that, the Duel of Fates, and you
Right.
kind of get a little bit of like a type of that music, but it wasn't. And I was like, come on. So they're going to fight again. We're going to have something.
Oh, yeah.
How do they not put that in there?
Yeah, I haven't looked ahead to season 5 yet. I hope they
I haven't either.
get Maul action early. Like I hope they pick up with that somehow and don't just jump into some other random storyline.
We got a R2 and a C-3PO one off from sure right off the beginning.
I'm sure that'll happen.
Well, there's always within the first fucking
It's 5,
10
22
episodes.
Yeah, it's 22 episodes as well, right?
yeah. Well,
It's
usually
20.
No, it was 22 episodes this season.
Sorry, this season was. I'm
Yeah.
saying next season is
That's what I
Okay,
said. 5.
all right.
5 is 20, and then 6 and 7 are both, what, 12?
it goes like 15 or something and 12,
then-
something like that.
Is 7 that long? I thought 7 was like 8 episodes or 6. Is it that long?
I thought it was
I
12.
haven't even looked at it. Okay.
I think 7 is 12 episodes.
Okay, so we know there'll be like it'll start off slow, and then we'll jump into some fucking droid episodes, and then like Padme's got to go somewhere and do something with somebody, and Ahsoka's gonna be her fucking protector, and then we'll get into the show. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
we
just
gotta-
want more Maul. I want more Savage. I want
I need-
those two involved heavily in this next season, and more clone
Ventress.
stories because I really am digging the clone stories and the warfare.
they've really like I was thinking about this when I was watching it up until I got about halfway through. I was like, you could almost start with season 4 because every season there's no growth. Like everyone is still where they're at. Everyone's still trying. Like Dooku's trying to fucking plot shit and get someone else to do something, and they fail. Like all this, other than like maybe the Ventress, where like we see like last season was really the change in that because Palps is like, oh, she's gonna try and fucking murder with you. So that's where that whole thing and the Savage thing at the end. But other than that, like nothing really has, because I mean we're in between 2 movies, so not a lot can happen. But a lot seems to be happening now with these sub characters, except for like Ahsoka really hasn't grown yet either.
And I wonder where Ventress ends up. Is she
Right.
I highly doubt she'll become a Jedi.
I think there needs to be like a buddy cop episode with Kenobi and Ventress, where like they have to go on a mission and there's just like fucking shit talking and because they're like 2 of different worlds
We've got to
collide.
do good guy, bad cop. Which one do you
What are
think
you
we
laughing
should
at?
do?
You agree, don't you?
Oh no, I think it would be great. But you're right. I think it was a lot of backstory, like origin story for characters that we now know. So you get a bit of a taste of where they came from and why they're motivated by what they're motivated, or how they're motivated. So some of the Anakin stuff, I mean, you see a lot of what drives him, how the anger is a problem, how his holding on to people too tight is a problem, all these things that we kind of knew before, but they just expand on it.
We haven't talked about that, but there was that was a lot of you saw a lot of Anakin sort of being tested with whether he's going to hold it back or not, especially like when Kenobi was dead. Like,
yes.
I thought like Mace was going to be in that room when he went in there to fucking grab the guy who he thought killed Kenobi, because he went in there like he's going to fucking kill him. And Ahsoka's just like standing there like, and he was like, "You're lucky I'm a Jedi." And, he holds back, but
he easily could have killed him.
We're seeing a lot more of that. Like when he chokes what's her face and she's like,
Slave.
"Oh, I love you."
Yeah.
Just like
he chokes somebody else. I think it's when he's with Ahsoka looking for that guy, and he force chokes somebody, and Ahsoka gives him this look like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
This guy's not messing around.
It's like the choke that the police officers aren't supposed to use.
Certainly that.
The rear naked choke.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm excited to get into season 5. Maybe this time I'll actually watch it a little bit more in advance. Did the same thing again.
Yeah.
Watched one episode like last Saturday, watched one episode Sunday, and then I don't think I watched any on Monday. And I was like, well, now I got to do them all in like 3 days.
I had to do them all Wednesday and Thursday. I think I had 4 episodes done, and then I had to do 4 through like 15, and then 15 through 22.
A week ago, I watched like 5, and I was like, I'm on a good start. And all of a sudden, it was like 2 days ago, and I'm like, oh fuck, I haven't watched. I gotta jump back into this. And then I couldn't get the fucking internet to work, and
Part of it for me too is because our schedule alternates with our liner notes that I do.
Yeah.
So I kind of just don't even do anything until I'm through that episode, and then I'm supposed to kind of start up.
Right,
not to
right.
mention, if I watch it too early, I'll forget half the shit. I mean, I make little notes, but it's not as fresh in my mind. So the benefit of cramming is that it's all right here.
It worked for me today too. Yeah.
I just read that. Now, where was that?
I watched 11 through 20 today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Killed it. I may have watched an episode on the way home on the day.
You watched 11 through 20 today?
There's 22 episodes.
11 through 20. No, okay, so 11 through 22.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We both
You were
got
just
that
winging
right.
it on 21 and 22?
Yeah, I didn't even watch the Darth Maul episodes, and I fucking know it all.
What do you guys think about Darth Maul's bio arms?
I thought they were great.
Yeah, I can't believe he and Ventress got together. And we're like, what?
You ever
Oh,
feel
no, that didn't happen? Never mind.
You ever feel a woman's breast and it's like a bag of sand?
Like a bag of sand.
What is that?
Are you a virgin?
No.
Do you have anything else for next season?
I don't even know where to go. I can't believe there's this many seasons leading into the fucking third movie.
Really?
But I'm like into it now. Like this was the season where I was like, okay, like hook, line, and sinker. I'm like bought and sold. I'm ready for like 40 fucking episodes next season, as long as it leaves the goddamn droids out of it.
And I've got to say, from spawning off of one line of dialogue in episode 4, well, you knew my father from the Clone Wars, right? Like that's where this whole thing came from. Like they have really, you never would have thought that there would be this much like intrigue and like just it's crazy. And like at first, like the episodes or season 1 and 2 it felt like a little bit of chore, a little bit of homework. And now like I would say season 3, season 4 have been enjoyable. Like I've enjoyed parts of watching this, and it doesn't seem like homework. And like if someone catches me watching this at work, I don't feel like such a douchebag. Like, what are you watching over there?
I don't know if it will continue this way, but like I said with the whole director thing. So if you look at like the list of episodes before you sit down to watch them, I use that just as a guide to go, like if I'm going to start episode 7 and the same director did 8 and 9, I'm like, well, I need to watch 7, 8, and 9 altogether. Like, because it's going to be the same story.
Okay.
So I try to use that to kind of guide me. If there's one-offs where it's just one director, I'm like, okay, I could just watch that whenever and then move on to the next one. But I try to keep those like groups together and watch them all together, because otherwise I'll forget what the hell I just watched.
Okay.
Hope you guys enjoyed that.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of season 4? I'm talking to our listeners.
I know you are.
I just answered that.
What if I was like, well, I kind of liked it, and then just went through all the episodes
Just
again?
Start over.
You didn't even watch
the thing
20
is, the first
and 22.
few episodes.
Yeah, it's 20 episodes are really good.
All right. Well, we don't have any Maul bag items.
You
Dun dun
sons
dun.
of bitches.
Next time. You got 2 weeks.
We're gonna need some emails.
Hey Matt, you need to chastise them in that Southern gentleman's.
Yeah, do your zero voice.
I do declare.
We're gonna
No, it's
need
more of
some-
this. It was like, well, hello, gentlemen. It's like that.
Where can they send an email to?
FACPApod@gmail.com. Send us an email. We'll read it on the air. If you got some gripes about the show, if you'd like to tell us about how we're wrong about our appreciation for vehicles, we've gotten into that before. If you have thoughts about like the Boba Fett stuff that we were speculating about, throw those out. We'd love to get your thoughts.
Hey, and I want to say shout out to Matt. That was a great fucking line in our DMs earlier about the you worry about those fighters, I'll worry about the towers.
Yeah.
And Jason's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh no.
No, I knew it was.
I was trying to find a meme to be like I can't remember what it was. I can't remember the name of the commander that's in episode 4.
Gold Leader.
Gold Leader, what's his name? I can't remember. Whatever. I was trying to find a good one for him, but he's not very popular in the Star Wars universe.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, the background on that is that Jay was complaining about the towers at work not allowing him to watch
internet
episodes, and I said, "Yeah, you worry about the fighters, I'll worry about the towers."
He was stuck in one of those towers, a bulletproof tower. He's supposed to be watching these areas.
I'm like, I can't get this shit to work. He keeps pausing out, and you're like, oh, that's weird. It's worked great for me all day.
He's like
I'm lying.
The Wi-Fi. I was like, oh, I haven't been able to watch it. I said, I just watched episode fucking like 7 through 20. Like, what are
Do you
talking
watch it? What do you watch it on?
What do you mean?
Like, do you have like your own laptop? Do you have your phone?
I have my laptop and my phone, but my laptop, and I gotta get your VPN on it. I was I couldn't do the VPN at work because the Wi-Fi blocks it, and I can't have the VPN to download a VPN off the App Store. So I was like, fuck. So I gotta download that at home, and then maybe I'll get it to work. So laptop was out of commission. Couldn't get anything to play on there. So I went to my phone, and then when I watched on the phone, your VPN is awesome. Sometimes I have to shut it off, turn it back on, get a good one so I can get Disney Plus to play. And then I'll be sitting there, and I'll be like, it'll pause out for like 2-4 minutes. And I'm like, ugh.
Can I
Drives
make
me
a
crazy.
suggestion?
Yeah. Download the episodes before I go to work.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, had I
They're
known
not
my
that
internet
big.
was going to be a piece of shit, I would have. But I was like, usually I get to work and I just play them. I'm good to go.
Well, I watch mine on my Surface Pro, and I don't have the app. So they don't have a Disney Plus app for the Microsoft Surface or the Microsoft Store.
you just log in the website.
So I have to go on the website.
How do they not have an app for that?
I do not know. I've looked for it 5 different times. Like every 2, I'm like, there's got to be an update now. They got the app for Disney Plus. No,
They have
it's still
100
not out
million
there.
subscribers to this fucking service. How do they not have?
Microsoft must not be servicing that.
Yeah, and it's weird because like if I pull up my app for Netflix like that's where I can download.
Yeah.
But if I can't play my app at work, so I have to go to the website on Chrome, pull up Netflix, and watch. I can stream anything,
Right.
but it's and then I run the risk of having slower internet versus if I download it on my app, I'm able to get whatever I want to watch.
Do you see what we go through, folks, to
Right.
bring you this fine show?
Yeah.
We have to jump through a lot of
The
hoops here.
struggles we go through to meet every other week.
And while we're supposed to be defending a nuclear reactor, we're actually watching Star Wars movies.
Star Wars
Hey.
cartoons.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Clone Wars, there's warfare, there's tactics, there's strategy.
Right, yeah.
It's
There's a
training.
reactor
It's a
on
training
every
session.
fucking ship. There's a reactor on every ship.
Right,
They blow up
right now,
sometimes.
all the single ladies listening to this are like, oh, those guys are awesome.
You guys are like, Anakin said you just shoot the reactor and it blows everything up, huh? And you got your gun out. Let's just see if that works.
Start firing off.
Reactor. Oops.
Brevis, what are you doing out there? Nothing.
Just trying something. Nothing. Don't worry
Trying
about it.
something new. Playing with my gun.
Anakin told me I could.
Got the chatter, Red 3.
All right, let's wrap this up with a Fact Puff factoid. Did you guys know there is not a single live-action clone in the Revenge of the Sith? They were all created using CGI, meaning that not a single clone helmet or costume was physically created for the threequel.
Really?
None of it. Yeah. Even I was like, really? Not one?
That's
a lot of
disappointing.
fucking stormtroopers that they CGI'd.
Seems like a lot more work than it's worth. I'm sure they had thousands of helmets just laying around.
Right. What do they do? Every movie, I probably won't make another one. Just burn it all.
Well, there's most of those, like most of the stormtroopers are typically extras anyways, right? They don't have
Right.
to pay them.
Yeah. Well,
There's just logistics
they get
involved.
extra pay. I think an extra without a speaking line, I think is like $50 or $100 a day or something. Yeah. Yeah.
Good money.
Big money. Well, so and then I mean, you had the we talked about the 501st and all that.
Mhm.
They're all like original trilogy stormtroopers. So there's no crew
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
clone troopers from prequel era that are just at the ready. Now I'm going to apologize if there's a group of you out there that are building this up, but to my knowledge, there is no
Well,
prequel clone
isn't
trooper organization.
that technically the 501st?
Well, the 501st is, but they all have that the original trilogy look.
Right, but like even in the write up here, when episode 7, when Anakin is forced to temporarily turn over command of his clone troopers, the 501st Legion, to the new commander. So they were the.
Well, that's where they get that. I'm saying
I
that's
know.
That's where that's not the actual people from
Trying
the
to be petty.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Hey, you pronounced 501st correctly. So
Now to go back to the Force Awakens, they used more practical effects. I don't know if it was more than the prequels or at least that 3-quel episode. But one of the interesting things that I read was their blaster guns actually were like air compressed. They were based off of some type of air compressed pellet gun or something. So they actually had a kick when they shot, which made it look even more realistic for the movie. So JJ was like, we're not doing like any of that CGI shit, and yours is actually going to work.
Yeah, well, I mean, didn't we talk before about how the original trilogy guns were all based off of like World War II?
World War
weapons
II.
And shit
Yeah.
like that?
Yep.
Right.
And then Lucas was like, "Oh, we'll green screen it all for the prequels," and JJ was like, "No, we're going back to puppets and makeup and real shit."
Dave, if you're listening, you should build us a real life airsoft gun.
Yeah,
the blaster. That'll be our
Stormtrooper
next
rifle.
giveaway.
Yeah,
Not Filoni. We're talking about David Sabermaker.
No, I was
Right.
talking Dave Filoni.
I mean,
Oh,
if
were
Filoni wants to do it.
I think Filoni needs to just come on the show and just tell us what's going on.
What if
Give
we
us
were
a-
the only Star Wars podcast you listen to? I don't know. They talk Favloni a lot. I like it. These
Yeah.
guys are great.
But he's like, man,
They really
they
get
don't
me.
even know 40%.
Oh,
They're
if he
kidding
shows
themselves.
up on, hey, what if he shows up in like the next what is that behind the scenes thing?
Oh, the gallery making the
gallery.
He's
Mandalorian.
wearing a fucking from a certain rescue shirt.
Oh, that would be fucking.
But it has to be the
I would
tank.
cry.
If he's wearing the
It's
tank
the
top,
tank.
nothing on it. Just the white pasty arms. Hey, what's going on,
His
guys?
cowboy hat.
Yeah, cowboy hat and tank top.
We'll give you those for free, Dave. Just saying. We'll send them wherever you need.
I want what's the name of the band that they started?
The Jizz Whalers.
The Strum Troopers.
Yeah, I
Boba
want
Fett
them.
and
I
Star-
want them to write our theme song and have Cole suffer through it every week.
Oh, so good. You're gonna get through this call.
All right, I'm gonna get some counseling after this episode.
All right, everybody, thank you for listening. We will see you in 2 weeks with the 5th season of the Clone Wars.
And until next time, never tell us the odds.
In our experience, there's no such thing as luck.
We have spoken.